morning, kids. Happy Thursday or Friday, whichever day you're watching this. I'm super excited to talk about today's topic because this topic still matters today. Now, we've talked a lot about dynasties so far, but now we're going to take a step back away from dynasties and look at some of the things that had massive impacts on dynasties, particularly religions, or CHQ is how are the beliefs of Buddhism, Confucianism, and Hinduism similar and different? We are going to be looking at different religions in Asia. Now, let me show you this pie graph really quick. This is basically going to answer the question, Mr. Huntsinger, why does this matter? I'll show you why this matters. Now, this is a pie graph showing the world population of any country over 100 million people. I think if you look at this for a couple seconds, you start realizing something. Mr. Huntsinger, there's a lot of people in China and there's a lot of people in India, huh? Yes, absolutely. Look, more than half of the population on Earth lives in two places, China and India. Now, here's the big secret. Buddhism, Confucianism, and Hinduism, the three religions that we're going to be looking at today, all started in either China or India. So now, let's pop into our very first religion, the religion known as Buddhism. Now, Buddhism started with this guy named Siddhartha Gautama. Now, Siddhartha Gautama has a great story. Now, he was a prince, which means that his mom and dad were royal. They were rich. They lived in a palace. Now, Siddhartha Gautama's parents were what we would call today helicopter parents. They're the ones that anytime you're like, Mom, Dad, I'm going out on the weekend. Where are you going? Who are you going with? How much money is it going to cost? How can I get a hold of you? When are you going to get home? Blah, 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 blah. Now, some of you kids are like, I have those parents too. Now, Siddhartha Gautama's parents were like the ultimate helicopter parents. They didn't even let him leave the palace, not even once, until he was 18 years old. Now, one week, Siddhartha's parents go out of town. And Siddhartha, being an angsty teenager, decides, you know what? I'm going to go look on what's the other side of that wall. So he goes over to his number one home dog. He's like, hey, dude, I'm going to go look over that wall and see the outside world for the very first time. So his buddy looks at him like, okay, whatever you want to do. So he sneaks his way over, takes a peek over the wall, and he sees something that he's never seen before. He sees a poor person. And he goes to his advisor and he says, dude, what is that? And his advisor looks at him and he's like, dude, that's a poor person. What are you talking about? Oh my God. So Siddhartha Gautama goes to sleep that night. And he's tossing and turning. And all he can think about is that poor person that he just saw. Then he wakes up the next morning and he thinks, okay, there's no way on earth that I am going to look on the other side of that wall again. Okay, I'm looking over that wall one more time. So he makes his way up again. Peers his way over. Okay. This time he sees something different, so he calls his advisor. Dude, what is that? What is that right there? And his advisor looks at him like, dude, this again, that's a sick person. The person was covered in boils all over him. Oh my God, a sick person. So he goes to sleep that night. He's tossing and turning. Poor people, sick people. He wakes up the next morning, determined this time to never look over that wall again. Or so you thought. So he makes his way over to the wall the third time in a row. And he looks over and, okay, coast is clear. Okay, normal people. Oh my God, what is that? He calls his advisor over. Dude, what is that? And he looks down. His advisor looks at him like, ay, Dios mío. Boy, that's a dead person. A dead person? What are you talking about? Dead? And his advisor looks at him like, dude, you're going to die one day. That's just the nature of the beast. So Siddhartha Gautama goes back to his room, and this time he's had enough. He says, listen, all I see every time I look over that wall is I see problems. I need to go and find out what is the meaning of life. If the world is filled with problems, what is the meaning of life? So when his mom and dad get home, he says, Mother, Father, goodbye, I'm leaving. He opens up the palace walls. He leaves. Adios, he is gone. He seeks to find this thing, enlightenment. Now, famously, what he does is he goes out, he sits under this thing called a Bodhi tree, sits upon this grove of these flowers called lotus flowers. He curls his legs in half, closes his eyes, and begins meditating until he achieves enlightenment, which is essentially he understands the meaning of life. He then becomes known famously across the world as the Buddha. Siddhartha Gautama becomes known as the Buddha because he determined these four noble truths that is real about the world. Now, his four noble truths are suffering. Everybody on earth suffers. Cause of suffering. There is always a cause to your suffering. End of suffering. Luckily for humanity, your suffering will come to an end. And number four, the path that leads to the end of suffering. Now, this blows up in China. People are like, yes, this guy knows what he's talking about. So the question is, using what you've already learned about China during the Middle Ages, why might people be so willing to accept the teachings of Buddhism? Yeah, because people were suffering. People were dying. There was war. There was poverty. There was leaders killing their families. There was all sorts of suffering. So Buddhism was very attractive. Now, on to number two. This might be the most Confucian of all religions to you because, technically speaking, Confucianism is not a religion. It's a way of life. If you know what a vegetarian chooses to not eat meat. They eat broccoli and carrots and salad and whatever else vegetarians eat. But they don't go on Sundays or Saturdays to the church of broccoli. Oh, broccoli, I love you. No, it doesn't work that way. That's silly. Confucianism is sort of the same way. It's not a religion. There's no Confucian church. There's no like God of Confucianism. Rather, it's simply a way of life that believes specific things. It ultimately taught that if you want a good government, you need to have good rulers. If you remember Emperor Taizong with the civil service exams, that was a result of Confucianism. Now, Confucianism, this way of life, has four stresses. Number one, harmony. It's a fancy word for peace. Number two, having mercy on people. Basically, genuinely just being kind to people, even if they are not kind to you. Number three, social order. Somebody is in charge, somebody is below them. The person below serves, the person above takes care. Now, number four, the fulfillment of responsibilities. If you say you're going to do something, you actually do it. Now, many of you kids are very, very, very familiar with this symbol here. It's called the yin-yang. Now, what the yin-yang is, it's the balance of life. Now, you have this white section over here with a little black dot. Okay, all good things have a little bit of evil in them. And then all evil things have a little bit of good in them. This is a Confucius idea. Now, number three, my personal fave, the religion known as Hinduism. Now, Hinduism is the main religion if you were to go to India. Buddhism and Confucianism, really big in China. Hinduism, massive, massive, massive in the nation called India. Now, they have three really important gods. Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Now, Brahma, very cool. This person right here in the middle. This person on the left-hand side. Brahma, the creator. This person is responsible for making everything. Then Vishnu, right here in the center, the preserver. If you are living and you're living a healthy life, then you are very thankful for this god because Vishnu is preserving you. Now, my personal favorite, Shiva, the destroyer. Anytime anything bad happens, it is because Shiva, the destroyer, is angry at humanity. Now, Hinduism also has some core beliefs about the world. These three core beliefs are absolutely fundamental if you are a Hindu. Number one, Dharma. One should live as one should. In other words, be a good person. Number one, right out the gates, Dharma is the belief. I need to, when nobody else is looking, I need to be a good person. Number two, you've probably heard of this one. Karma, fairness of the universe. If I walk up and I go and slap my dog, I love you, dog, I would never slap you. Maybe when I take her on the walk, I trip on a crack and I fall and hurt myself. That's karma. If you do bad things are going to happen to you too. Now, here's the good thing. There's such thing as good karma too, where if I go up and I pet my dog, oh, I love you so much. You're so beautiful. Then maybe I'm out on a dog walk and I look down and I find a $5 bill. The belief in fairness of the universe. Now, finally, the belief known as samsara. Life, death, and rebirth. This is also, in other religions, Buddhism being one of them, called reincarnation. You are born, you live a life, you die, and depending on if you were a good person or a bad person, you are born one way or the other. So say that I'm a really good person in life, I die, and then I'm reborn as something better. Maybe I'm reborn as a famous actor or a millionaire. However, here's the problem. Life, death, and rebirth, if I'm a bad person, I die, I am reborn at a lower position in society. Maybe I'm a lot poorer than I was. Maybe I can't afford things. Now, here's the wild thing. Maybe I don't even come back. I'm not even reborn as a human. Maybe I come back as a sewer rat. Or I come back as a pig, Alejandro Moran. I kind of hope so. Now, kiddos, what you are going to be doing for the rest of the day is simply use this video to answer the questions, and then I will see you very soon. Love y'all.